One cheap shot on Nikola Jokic, and a viral video that has followed has pushed not just me, but everybody over the edge to say F the Oklahoma City Thunder and Lou Dirty-ass Dort.
Breaking news, holy shit. He just hit Joker in the face again.
And the undisputed greatest shooter who's ever lived might not get his ring number 5 because of his own team, most notably Steve Kerr and Draymond Green. So let's get into it.
Welcome to the show, people. Welcome to the show.
Tricky Guy Sports.
Full episode for March 12th.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
What's up, everybody? It's your host, Brent Bilski, a.k.a. Double B, or the 110 Soldier. First topic today is a personal, kind of interesting one to me.
A white boy.
In the NBA, something is happening. It's been whispered, it's been tiptoed. The evolution of the American-born white basketball player. It's not quite the punchline that it used to be. Are they finally a real part of the NBA? And I'm not talking sprinkles of Pete Maravich or Larry Bird or John Stockton. And I'm not talking about the Euros. We already know that the Euros between Dirk and now Jokic and Luka, we know the Euros can ball. I am talking about that American-born, usually coach on the floor, plucky white guy. Has he evolved finally into a significant part of the NBA? Because let's be honest, throughout most of time, if you were white and you were athletic enough to compete in the NBA,
White men can't jump.
that was surprising. Now, look at the evidence. Mac McClung just tripled the dunk contest and should have probably been in it this year. It sucked without him. Cooper Flagg is competing with Con Knipple, 2 Dukies for Rookie of the Year. Austin Reeves, second best player on LA, dropping 25 a night. Peyton Pritchard really helping out the Boston Celtics. He's been a scoring machine and made, apologies to Reggie Miller, that Caitlin Clark comparison look a lot more fair.
I'm sorry.
Chet Holmgren might anchor a title defense. Nick Wright recently brought this into the conversation because he made a joke that the All-Star game, maybe we should do the white versus black game because that'll at least get ratings.
White guys versus black guys.
But I thought the interesting part of the conversation is why it was relevant, because actually nowadays it might have been a pretty decent game. That actually could have been competition.
And we are getting close to a place where it'd be like, oh, that'd be a good game. Like, there hasn't been a moment in the NBA in the last 50 years where if that ended up just by chance being the game, it would be, you could see either team winning. But right now, like, Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple and Austin Reeves doing a lot
out
of work
there. Yeah.
Right.
15 years ago, you couldn't build an NBA contending team with just American white basketball players. Today, you absolutely could. So, this isn't takeover talk. This is not, trying to be a turning point in the conversation. Wink, wink. So everyone calm down.
Race war! Race war!
But I think it's an interesting conversation, the evolution of the white boy in the NBA. Let's just walk through this, all right? The last 3 decades. I want to take the last 3 decades and put together the best teams you could. What if you assembled just American-born white basketball players from the last few decades? How would they do? And I think it's the best way to explain what I'm talking about. If you started out in 2000, the best roster you could possibly put together would be an old John Stockton or a Jason Williams at point guard. So point guard would be okay. Jeff Hornacek, also old. A rookie Wally Szczerbiak, Christian Laettner, Rafe LaFrentz, and off the bench players like Brent Barry, a rookie Mike Miller, and a Matt Harpring. So you got Stockton at 37, still averaging 12 and 8. I love me some white chocolate Jason Williams. Hornacek was still shooting the lights out, don't get it wrong, but he was old. But there's nobody averaging 20 points. They're what you think. They're disciplined, they're skilled, they're smart, they're good shooters. But that's a 38 to 42 win team tops, 0 wing stoppers, no vertical athletes, no closers, no isolation scorers, no real title shot.
You lose.
Let's fast forward to 2010. We're getting closer. Now the lineup would be something like Kirk Heinrich at point guard, a young Mike Miller, who was a top 3 shooter at the time, an all-star, finally, David Lee, a young Kevin Love, and a Chris Kaman, also an all-star reserve at center. Then your bench would have guys like Kyle Korver, a young J.J. Redick, and a Brad Miller. So now, doing better, you got David Lee. He's an all-star. You got a young Kevin Love. You got a Kaman, a Korver, of course, who's one of the best shooters of all time, along with J.J. Redick. You got finally one of your first two-way players in a Kirk Heinrich at point guard. It's better. It's 48 to 52 wins. It might be a 4 or like a 5 seed. But in that era, are they beating Kobe? Are they beating LeBron? Are they beating Shaq? Are they surviving 7-game series against athletic elite wings? No. They're still mostly shooting. They have very limited lateral quickness, to put it politely, and are not built for defensive switching.
Not good enough.
Not good enough!
But if you cut to today, 2026, this is where it gets very interesting.
That's a bad white boy, man.
The lineup today would be something like this. Tyler Herro at point guard, Austin Reeves at 2, Cooper Flagg, Con Knipple, Chet Holmgren, and then off the bench, you still got Peyton Pritchard, Dante DiVincenzo, you got Brown out of Denver, Alex Caruso, Luke Kennard, Kessler out of Utah, Gillespie, you can add Grayson Allen, Pajemski.
Don't forget Reed Shepherd and his goofy mustache.
Now we got something. That's a solid lineup, dude. Cooper Flagg is a 20-point two-way wing with a real vertical and a lot of athleticism. Already dropped a 49-point game as a rookie. Austin Reeves is, again, the second-best player on the Lakers and a legitimate shot creator. He can actually get his own shot, along with Tyler Herro, another 20-plus scorer. Then you got Peyton Pritchard, who's been setting the league on fire out there in Boston right now. Knipple has really shocked everyone. He might beat Cooper. He's in a lot of the running for Rookie of the Year conversation and is breaking three-point records all over the place. Chet Holmgren, once again, almost 20 points a game, an all-star and a two-way defender, and is going to be a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. Then you have more athletes on the bench. You got, again, Brown, you got Caruso, you got Kessler who can protect the rim. This is no longer a novelty lineup.
I did not lose my money this way, boy. He a visitor. We the home team.
That's not just shooting. That's size. That's defense. That's above average athleticism by a long shot. That's an actual contender. 58 to 62 wins. Title chances somewhere 15, 20%. That's a legit shot. I'm not saying they win outright, but I'm saying that's competitive. That is definitely a top 4 or 5 team in the league. It's young, but it's on the right area there, and you could never say that in any generation before.
It's all right, because it's all white.
Not trying to, start a war here, but it's just the fact. Because, look, I understand this more than anybody. These stereotypes didn't come out of, thin air. For the last 40 years, the white NBA basketball player born in America was a specialist. I should know on a smaller level in college, that's exactly what I was. I was the stereotype. I was a very good shooter, but I was a glue guy. I had high IQ. I could be a coach on the floor, but a very limited athlete. So it's not like it was really hate. That was a fair stereotype, but the stereotype doesn't really match the tape anymore if you watch these new age kids here. And the best way I can explain the change, it's just simple. Evolve or die.
Evolve or die, baby.
Evolve or die. I mean, far beyond just the obvious reasons some people might say is that, the NBA is starting to space out and become more of a shooter's league again. That's fair, but as all species must evolve, they've adapted this new group of white boys now to this ever-changing environment to survive. I mean, between the training, the skill development, the athletic profile, from a very young age now, they're getting into these very complex trainings. 8, 9-year-olds doing weights and explosive jumps and plyometrics. They're doing these refined biomechanics where they teach them body angles and movement patterns to try to unlock as much hidden athleticism as they have in those legs of theirs. Fast twitch activation drills, high speed, low rep stuff. And Reeves has said as much of this. You can actually Google this. He's talked about a lot of this stuff, how he's able to improve himself athletically. Caruso has done a bunch of videos online you can check out yourself of him doing a lot of these jumps and stuff. Kevin Herter, Red Velvet, who I didn't even mention, he actually has a place he's called the Impact Athletic Center where they're focusing on cryotherapy.
Ginger tap toes.
But point being now, from an early age, it's understood, man, you're going to have to focus on this as much as you're going to focus on shooting and everything else. And the archetype has evolved. And the best example outside of the NBA kind of is Mac McClung, who won the dunk contest, but not technically an NBA player, and Jordan Kilgannon. If you've ever seen any of their dunk videos or the dunk contest, those two little white guys are two of the top 5 dunkers on the planet, not just in your current area, on the planet. Not that Brent Barry nonsense from years back where they gave him a dunk contest trophy and it was reverse affirmative action where he barely got it there from the free throw line and everyone was like, oh, attaboy. They don't just dunk good for white guys now. They are actually some of the best dunkers in the league.
Man, he can really jump for a white guy.
It is a real evolution and it has been interesting to watch. And I want to repeat, this isn't about trying they should be replaced or about dominance or a shifting power structure. It's more for me just not letting the Euros be the only ones representing.
They took our jobs!
This is an American sport. I've talked about this in other situations. I want American-born players to be still a significant part of this league. I don't need just the Jokic and Lukas and Sabonis and Avdijas and Markkanens. I like them fine, but I have a little pride just like everybody else. I think everyone likes to see American stars do best. Ratings prove that out over the years, whether it's Jordan, LeBron, Steph versus Olajuwon or Jokic, any situation like that.
Greatest country on the planet.
But it's more about, for me, the just development, the impact for the first time. In 2000, I don't think you put it together a team with this roster, they have a shot. 2010, solid playoff team. Yeah, they're okay. But in 2026, if you assembled that group together, that is a legitimate title argument between Harrow, AR, Knipple, Flagg, Holmgren, Pritchard, DiVincenzo, Brown, Caruso, Pods, Kennard, Kessler. I might even add a Cornette or a Plumlee in to add some height to my bench there. That's an evolution, and this is something that has been a part of the culture forever, this conversation between Bird and Magic and the rivalry that started and why that was important. Look that up. Pete Maravich before them. White Men Can't Jump has not came out not once but twice because this has always been part of the whisper of the conversation.
Because I'm white. Because he's white. Because he is white. Look at him.
You had these, white hope players that didn't turn out the way a lot of people hoped, like a Christian Laettner or a Jimmer Fredette. Then you, of course, have Jason White Chocolate Williams, is still one of the favorites of all time. White chocolate! It just is what it is, and it is interesting. For the first time ever, the evolution of the white boy in the NBA. For once, they're not just a plucky coach. They are actually making an impact in the league, and we'll see if that continues going forward, but it was an interesting twist that I had to bring up.
White boys is gonna do what white boys is gonna do.
All right, next up, this one is also personal because it's about my favorite player and my favorite team. Does Steph Curry actually need a fifth ring, and can he even get there, and who's to blame?
5 golden rings.
And let me start off with this. I don't think any team has had a worse start in any professional sport actively in 2026 than my Golden State Warriors. Holy crap. Has it been a bad 2026? Major injuries, of course. Butler with that ACL. Steph Curry is still out. They keep MRIing him every 10 days with that runner's knee. We don't know when he's coming back. But also the bench guys. His brother Seth has played 2 games the entire season. GP2 in and out of the injuries. Draymond has been spotty in his injuries with his back and stuff. We already started with no back-to-backs for guys like Al Horford. Now the added Porzingis has become part of that problem, who was, of course, the main catalyst of the failed Kuminga trade, which, holy crap, this might go down as one of the worst trades in history.
How did you ever screw up so bad?
23-year-old Kuminga and Hield were sent to Atlanta for Porzingis. Porzingis, we don't know when he's coming back. He's got this mysterious illness. Meanwhile, Kuminga's killing it in Atlanta. They're now 31-30. They're an 8 seed. They're 4-6 in their last 10. They're racing towards the 10th seed. Bottom tiers in rebounding, defense, score. I mean, ugh.
This is truly the worst timeline.
Do I need to? It has been a bad few months for the Golden State Warriors. And then there's soon-to-be 38-year-old Steph Curry. And it's sad because he says the only reason he's still playing is to compete and win a 5th championship. And I agree, because 5 rings would put him in very serious company. That would put him over LeBron, that would tie Kobe, and that would push him, I think, in my opinion, to further in the conversation. But there's also a problem that we should discuss, which is that I'm not sure, even if he got it, that it would change his legacy. And I'm not sure the Warriors are really capable of getting him one anymore unless they were able to get rid of Steve Kerr and Draymond Green. And I'll get back to that.
I'll come back to that one.
I'll break that down for you, but let's go into if he got his 5th ring and the GOAT debate. Looking at the framework of the top 2 is always Jordan and LeBron. When you argue the GOAT, the greatest of all time in basketball, there's usually 4 things that are kind of brought up there. You start with championships, and like I already said, MJ's got 6, LeBron has 4, Steph, if he got one more, would be put above him there. But then you also have individual awards. MJ, of course, had 5 MVPs in his career. LeBron's had 4. Steph's only had 2, the only unanimous one ever, so that wouldn't put him in that category. Then you have career stats and longevity. That really goes to LeBron, and peak dominance goes to Jordan. I mean, Jordan owned peak dominance. 6-0, 6 straight finals MVPs. You'll never see a better run than what Jordan had, and I include Bill Russell in that conversation. LeBron owns longevity. That will always be LeBron's statement on the GOAT, is that I did it the best for the longest.
Me love you long time.
He owns basically damn near every all-time record you can think of. But Steph owns an era and the evolution of the sport, which I think puts him in his own unique category. Think of like pop stars. Think of when you compare Jordan, LeBron, Steph, I'm going to give you three great, but really different pop stars. Jordan to me was Beyonce. Beyonce had the most wins, the most nominations in history of the Grammys. She won 35 of 99. She had 13 number one hits, the complete superstar, dominance, the awards, the icon, the GOAT of the 2000s when it comes to pop stars. LeBron to me is more Rihanna. Massive talent, arguably the most natural talent, has a nice long career and actually is number one in awards, 14 number one hits, the most of the three I'm bringing up here. Massive longevity, most career wins. But has Rihanna ever owned an era? Just like LeBron, I don't know if he ever owned his era, man. It started with Kobe, then Steph came in. You even had little blinks of Kevin Durant, Kawhi, and Giannis. Most natural talent, a lot of great records, but does she own her era? I would argue no. And Steph is Taylor. Steph is Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift changed the industry. Right or wrong, just like Steph, there is pre and post their arrival, and it is clear and it is different. They may have not been the most talented overall, but they owned an era being the best ever at one specific thing. They're not as versatile. They can't do as much, but they excelled specifically at one thing. Taylor with their branding and songwriting, can't argue with it. Steph with shooting. They are no doubt number one at that, and they use that specifically to push themselves into kind of untouched territory. Because that, to me, is what makes Steph unique as his own GOAT. Whether he's the GOAT of all time or not, his legacy isn't just built on championships. It's built on something that almost really nobody in sports history can say. He owns a category of a game undisputed. Let me give you that again. Undisputed. Steph Curry is undisputed the greatest shooter of all time.
Undisputed.
Very few athletes ever in history or now can ever say that. I would say maybe Usain Bolt in sprinting and Michael Phelps in swimming. But again, we can time those. Those are tracked. And give me some comments if you want to disagree with me. Who else can you say owns a skill set undisputed the way Steph Curry owns shooting? We can go into baseball. You think of MLB. Who's the best home run hitter? Could say Bonds. Could say Ruth. Could say Aaron. Bonds has the records. Ruth owned his era. Aaron has the longevity. It's not undisputed. The NFL, who's the best passer of all time? Do you go with Tom Brady? A lot of people would argue Mahomes is better. Peyton Manning might have been more of a pure passer. People before that will tell you Dan Marino was the best passer of the entire group.
Dan Marino.
Pass rusher. Most people like me would tell you, dude, it's Lawrence Taylor. But people will argue with you. They'll say, no, Reggie White. New kids will say, no, Aaron Donald. Boxing, who has the strongest punch? Who's the best power puncher of all time? I'd say Tyson. Other people might say Foreman. Other people might say DeAndre Wilder.
Allen took a punch from Mike Tyson.
Hockey, goal scoring, passing accuracy. People might say Gretzky's the GOAT, but again, that's more of an overall. There will be names like Lemieux and McDavid put in on either one of those two categories. So outside of measurable Olympic sports, I don't know anyone else who owns a skill completely unparalleled and outright. It goes Steph Curry shooting, it goes Usain Bolt sprinting, and it goes Michael Phelps in swimming. That's basically the company that Steph keeps.
To the facts of the case, and they are undisputed.
Do you hear me here? I'm not saying they say he's great. They're not saying it's debatable. They are saying undisputed. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter who has ever lived. Nobody really argues it. Nobody with half a brain. It's kind of like gravity. It's like accepting 2 + 2. It's just an accepted fact. And you could try to be a ding-dong and say otherwise, but anybody that knows ball is going to be like, bro.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
He's the undisputed greatest at a specific skill set. I don't know anyone else in sports history that can say that. And if you look at the actual stats, it gets even goofier. When it comes to Steph Curry and his shooting resume, this gets goofy. He is the first player ever with 4,000 career threes. To give you an idea, Harden is about 900 behind him. He's the only one ever to have 402 threes, 400 in a season, still the record, 268 straight games with a three. He's had 45 games where he's hit 9 threes. How impressive is that? Next up is Klay Thompson at 13, Damian at 13, Steph is at 45 and counting. 28 games with 10-plus threes. Next up is Klay Thompson again at 9. He's had 6 seasons with 300-plus threes. There are only 4 other players who have had 1 to his 6. 8 3-point titles, 650-plus playoff threes, the all-time leader. I could go on and on if I felt like it, but I think that's enough. And in case you ever need to see it for yourself, I've told people about this before, and I will tell you again, especially now that he's about to turn 38 years old. If you ever get a chance to go to a Warriors game, get your ass there early and go watch him warm up. Go watch Steph Curry warm up before a game. It is actually better than the game. I am somebody who used to shoot a basketball pretty well, and I am just flabbergasted watching how accurate, robot-like, and machine-like. He is truly the greatest of all time at something. The best comparisons I can give you, it would be like if you were allowed to watch Beethoven rehearse. It would be like if you were allowed to watch Hendrix practice guitar. Whitney Houston singing before she's about to do the national anthem. It is that level of you'll never see that again. So if you ever get a chance, or if you don't believe me, go watch him just warm up lackadaisically, hit 38 goddamn threes in a row. It is so impressive to watch him shoot. He is the greatest of all time at a specific skill, and I don't know anyone else, now or back then, who can, without debate, make that argument. But the problem is that I don't think they could win a 5th ring, so it almost becomes a moot conversation because Steve Kerr and Draymond have effed up my entire universe and the Golden State Warriors. It is a nightmare. I don't think they have any chance at ring number 5. I truly don't. Even if Steph wanted that 5th ring, Warriors might have made it impossible. I mean, the dynasty has not collapsed because of Steph. He's still a superstar. But God, it's collapsed, and it's collapsing all around him. Steve Kerr and Draymond Green have literally effed up their ozone. It is so bad in Golden State.
You two ruined my career. I'm gonna get you.
We can start with Steve Kerr and this Kuminga moment. I'll put away the pod's guy love for another conversation for another day. But this Jonathan Kuminga trade already might go down as not just one of the worst trades of all time, but the moment the Warriors window got completely slammed shut. Kuminga, looking at him in Atlanta, is exactly what the Warriors are missing right now. They need young, they need athletic, they need healthy, they need a scorer, a guy who can create his own shot. In the few games in Atlanta already, Jonathan Kuminga is averaging 21.3 points, 7.7 rebounds, 3.3 assists, but even more insane, 79% true shooting percentage, 68% field goals, and 56% threes. Meanwhile, the guy they traded him for, Porzingis, is once again out indefinitely. They're saying it might be POTS. We don't know. It's now a mysterious illness. He's been able to play 1/2 of one game so far. He came in with that Achilles already being limited to where he could only do back-to-back. His contract ends at the end of the year. They doubled down on an aging core when they were already the Golden State Warriors. All they had to do, you had to trade Kuminga, I understand that, but you had to go young, you had to go healthy. They went the exact opposite. Now we're watching Kuminga flourish in Atlanta. The only other solution should have been keep Kuminga and get Kerr's head out of his ass. Whatever problem that was, that's on Steve. That's Steve's job as the leader of that team. He was supposed to fix and help that kid figure it out because I didn't hear anyone say he actually had a bad attitude, but something happened between those two, and I put that on Steve Kerr, and boy, they rushed into a bad trade that might have killed Steph's chances for the last few years of his career. And the Draymond Green problem. This is the epitome of one of my favorite Southern phrases. Look at me. Remember this. When the chicken outweighs the chicken, get rid of the chicken.
You think I'm chicken?
It is the smartest, kind of dumb South phrase you can use, but if the chicken outweighs the chicken, get rid of the chicken. What am I saying is that when there's just more crap than there is the chicken itself, dude, it is time to move on. Think late Allen Iverson. Think Ja Morant now in Memphis, where rumors say that teams say, we want you to give us a draft pick in order to take him on. Think older Dennis Rodman. It is so alarming how quickly Draymond has sucked out loud, and the numbers this season are so bad. Let's get into some of these. In December, this was a fun one. He had more turnovers and fouls than field goals made. Give you that one more again. Through the first 24 games, Draymond had made 72 shots, had 75 turnovers, and 80 fouls. He was committing more mistakes and more fouls than he was making field goals. He is still leading the league in turnover rate. He has a 29% turnover rate. What does that mean? That means 1 out of every 3 plays, Draymond Green is turning over the ball. He forces into so many windows. It is just a nightmare watching him because he thinks he's Magic Johnson, and Kerr is giving him carte blanche. His plus-minus numbers, holy crap. -30 versus the Lakers, -28 versus the Celtics. Over his last 26 games, he has a -58. plus-minus rating. His shooting, which already sucked, has gotten even worse. He is now shooting 40.6% from the field, only 31% from threes. If you watch the tape, they are leaving his ass wide open. I mean, they're begging Draymond to shoot the ball. It has become embarrassing how much he has fallen off even just shooting the ball. Not to mention the stats besides plus-minus, net rating, say they're better without him. Net rating swing when Draymond has been on the floor this year is negative 2.6. Without him, they're plus 3.7. So that's a 6.3 swing when he is on or off the floor. Not to mention his constant discipline issues. Already 11 technical fouls this year. Only, I think, second to Luka, who's going to set all types of records the way he's going. 2 ejections this season, 24 career ejections, which is, of course, only 5 away from the all-time record. So I guess congratulations there.
Oh, good for you.
Whoop-de-frickin-do. But the reality goes like this. Dude, Steph Curry is still at 37 playing championship-level basketball, but the Warriors have been asking him to carry an aging, shrinking roster. His second-best player supposedly turns the ball over every third possession. This dynasty didn't die because Steph declined. It died because everyone else around him did. And so, to get back to the original question, does Steph need a 5th ring? I don't know if it's the right question. I don't think he can get there with the way things have gone. But also, even if he got it, I think he owns something rarer than just rings itself. He's the undisputed greatest shooter who's ever lived. And I don't know anyone else who can say they are undisputed the way that he is and the way that he's been able to dominate. So whether he gets that 5th title or not, the Warriors might have already blew it. My only solution would be try to trade Draymond in the offseason. I would say to Los Angeles, maybe get a Kennard and an Ayton. I was actually shocked when we traded in Atlanta that we didn't go after Kennard originally. Why did we go after an injured Porzingis in the first place? We could have taken Kennard. Now in L.A., I would take an Ayton to go along with it. And let Kerr the hell go. His contract's up at the end of the year. I would give you both feet out the door and give you a goodbye and don't let it hit you where it splits you. But that would be my only solutions to maybe try to salvage a once great and promising last couple years of his career.
I have one more thing to say.
F. Lou Dort and the Oklahoma City Thunder.
You Thunder, you can my...
Oh, my God. I am so done with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I was mostly neutral before this. I didn't love them, didn't hate them. They were just kind of there. But after the newest Lou Dort Jokic incident and the compilation video that followed, I'm out.
Screw you guys, screw you guys, screw you guys.
I'm out. I am actively now rooting against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Sing it with me.
You Thunder, you can my...
Oh, if you watch the viral video that has been going out, Lou Dort is not just a physical player. He is dirty-ass Dort. And plus, I said this a year ago, and I'll say it again, I think the OKC dynasty talk is way too soon. I find this kind of an overrated team that now I kind of hope lose. I think you guys deserve to lose after watching that video. But most people at least know the first part of what I'm talking about, the Jokic incident that just happened recently, Thunder versus Nuggets. Jokic is running back, and suddenly, on basically a dead play, the ball's out of bounds. Lou Dort clearly sticks his hip out and his foot back and tries to trip Jokic on his injured knee, no less, that he had just came back from. And even worse, until he got caught on video later and apologized, he didn't realize, dude, we saw you. He was like, oh, what? I didn't do anything. And he was complaining and he was bitching after he cheap-shotted the guy right in the middle of the floor. And I hear Thunder fans, it's hard-nosed. It's this and that. It is a non-basketball, dirty-ass play. It's hard to get Jokic that mad. Jokic doesn't care about the game that much. He got up. People did the memes. You saw the Joker face to go with it. Jokic was ready to murder somebody. Jokic was suddenly remembering rolling around with his brothers, like the one that looks like Zangief and others. Jokic was pissed off and ready to kick some ass. Of course, Dort got hit with the flagrant 2 and ejected. Even the Nuggets coach, Adelman, who doesn't always go there, said that move was malicious. But if it was just one moment, I'd let it go. If it was just one, I would let it go. But then the latest video dropped. I would love to credit whoever did it and shout out to the one who put it out, but man, there is a viral video, and you can look at it going on, that has gone all over the internet, that has put together a compilation, and once you see it, I don't think you can argue it's a one-time thing with Lou Dort. Lou dirty-ass Dort, this is clearly a pattern, and he goes after the stars. That's the craziest part. If you look at the list of everyone that he cheap shots in this video, it is not just the Nikola Jokic incident. Go back to John Morant. Undercuts him in midair in the playoffs. He has to leave with an injury. He's out for the rest of that series. Stephen Curry. See him clearly trying to clip his legs after he gets beat. Wemby has not just happened once but twice where Spurs fans are like, dude, what the hell is this guy doing? Is he trying to play football? Luka Doncic cheap shots him with a push that was clearly out of pocket. Halliburton elbows him in the goddamn throat, clear as day. Paul George bends his knee damn backwards. So this isn't just tough defense. This is non-basketball plays targeting stars, not just random dudes. Jokic, Morant, Curry, Wemby, Luka, Hallie, Ingram, Paul George. I mean, do you think that's coincidence? Are you going to try to argue that with me? Are you going to say, oh, man, it just randomly happened to be 8 of the best players in the league that he cheap-shotted? No, this dude is a dirty-ass player. And I wouldn't have realized it without the compilation put together. And you could say, oh, you can edit and cut things. Find, other than maybe Draymond and Rodman, a compilation video of that many incidents that are clearly hard to explain. I'll wait.
Don't worry, I'll wait.
No, go ahead. Pause the podcast. Go look it up. Come back to me with a video compilation of anyone. Maybe Bruce Bowen, maybe Draymond Green. It is a handful short list. Lou Dort is a dirty-ass player. I don't respect him. I don't care. F him and the horse he rode in on.
You were dirty then, you're dirty now.
By the way, stats back it up. By early 2026, Lou Dort's already had 9 techs, 6 flagrants, 4 career ejections, so this isn't just a bad moment. This is a resume. He is proven to be a dirty-ass player.
We have breaking news coming out of Denver. It's happened again. Just 10 days after being ejected for tripping Nikola Jokic, Dort was fighting through a screen and caught Jokic with a wild swinging arm right to the face. After a quick review, the officials slapped him with a flagrant one. And you should have heard the OKC broadcast. The announcers were immediately defending Dort, claiming there was no contact, and he didn't do a thing until the slow-mo replay showed the clear shot to the jaw.
Are you kidding me? He didn't even get hit in the face. Take a look at this, folks. I gotta show it to you.
Nice try, dickwad. Despite the bias, Dort actually apologized on the court afterward, and Jokic told reporters he didn't think Dort crossed the line this time around. With 2 flagrants in 2 weeks, the league office is definitely keeping tabs on this rivalry.
The only thing I'm asking is, where are the enforcers? What happened? Back in the day, if you touched a star, if you touched Isaiah Thomas on the Bad Boy Pistons, if you touched Magic on the Lakers, Jordan on the Bulls, there was somebody that basically it was his job to be like, bro, all right, you ever watch hockey, bitch? Let's get it on. Like that used to be the attitude. I don't know where or what. Jokic should not have had to even defend himself. Besides, I don't care, he's the biggest. He's the star. There's somebody on that 11th, 12th part of the bench. Your job in life is to make sure, dude, you touch our guy, it's time to get it on right here. We don't play that stuff.
Don't touch him.
But back to the Thunder in general, and I'll admit, honestly, I already didn't love this team. I always thought they've been overrated. I looked at last year's title run, and I've said this multiple times. That playoff road, not just golden. The Thunder road was so easy. Other than the Celtics had it recently too, but you look at the road the Thunder got to the championship that everyone loves to talk about. Every single series, there was a major injury. Round 1 versus Memphis, they of course swept them, but Memphis didn't have Ja Morant after Game 3 when he got hurt. Then they moved on to Denver. Well, congratulations, Aaron Gordon in Game 7, the most important, who had been crucial, pulls his hamstring along with Jamal Murray, who had also been hobbled by hamstring injuries, and it still took them 7 games to get that one done. In the Western Conference, yes, they 4-1 Minnesota, but the fact that they were there in the first place was most likely due after Game 1. Steph Curry hurts his hamstring. The Warriors aren't even in that Western Conference Finals. But then even worse, Anthony Edwards doesn't sprain his ankle. He does it not once but twice. He still continues to play. He's a shell of himself. Then finally get to the NBA Finals versus Indiana, which again took 7 games. Tyrese Halliburton, of course, tears his Achilles. Indiana, by the way, was up 2-1 in that series. They pushed him to Game 7. So this idea that they're just this undisputed dynasty, when teams are dynasty, go and look back at the ones, they don't have multiple Game 7s. They don't need a lot of injuries to get them there. You look at like Jordan's Bulls, Kobe and Shaq's Lakers, they usually would just, the first 3 series are just a rout, and maybe Game 5 or 6 for the finals to make it fun for the people betting at home, but it would be like 16-1, 16-4 would be their record. It wouldn't take multiple Game 7s, and it wouldn't take multiple injuries. I'm not saying that they're not good, but I am saying they're not this dynasty. I don't know where everyone got this. They're just like the Celtics a couple years back, where I thought they had a very kind of golden leprechaun, easy road there, and it is way too early to call them a dynasty. Just look at this season. I mean, that is what really kind of pushed the narrative. People got off to the hot start. They were 24-1, which, don't get me wrong, 24-1 to start a season after you won a title is rare. It is historic. That 17.5 point differential was truly historic. But since that start, go back and look.
It's not doing so hot right now, whatever.
They're 24-14 in their last 48. The gap in the West, especially with the Spurs, is shrinking. I will still make the argument. All those picks they have in the cupboard, you should have traded for Giannis.
Who's crazy now?
And I'm not going to seem so crazy if what happens, I think might happen, which is that they either lose to the Spurs and don't make the finals, or they go on to lose to like a Knicks, a Celtics with a returning Tatum, or a Cleveland Cavaliers. And don't try to throw in, Thunder fan, oh, well, you're not bringing up the SGA injury. Even with SGA, they are 41-11, way away from 24-1, and still on a 64-win pace. Don't get me wrong, that's very good. But at the same time, 28 teams in NBA history have won 64 games. Only 15 of those, 53%, went on to win the title. So do you hear what I'm saying? Like, yes, that's good, but it's not like, oh my God, this team is just on another level. They're one of the arguably best 28 teams of all time. That's not a dynasty. That's not guaranteed. That's not proven. That's not, oh my God, the next 3 years, just give it to the Thunder.
Okay, so maybe you're not that good.
And let's be honest about the Stars themselves, because to me, it's part of the problem. SGA, say what you want, returning MVP, having a great year, he's a foul merchant. No one likes him. I am not alone in this. Nobody likes SGA outside of Oklahoma City. Know how I know? Go to jersey sales. Go to where the money's spent. Number 7 in jersey sales. Now you might throw at me, oh, that's a small market. Bullshit again. Wemby's above them at 4. Ant's above them at 6. They also live in small markets. You cannot throw anything other than the fact that we don't like to root for a foul merchant. We don't like to watch someone who flops and flies around instead of trying to make baskets to win a game. Chet Holmgren, look, Chet Holmgren's a great talent, but he's got the personality of a dead moth.
You get a horse and live in the mountains someplace and don't bother anybody. Got a personality like a dead moth.
Have you ever heard Chet Holmgren? That is a boring, weird dude that is pretty, like, there's really not much to like about him. And now you throw in Lou Dirty-ass Dort. So your top 3 guys, I'm looking at you. You got one that's a foul merchant, one has no personality whatsoever, and the other is just a dirty-ass player. So, yeah, maybe I'm biased now, but if your identity defensively is just being dirty and tripping people and undercutting them and kicking them, don't be surprised if myself and the rest of the fan base in the league can all sing along with me.
You Thunder, you can my
I don't not just hope you don't win. I really think everybody needs to take a second look and go, are they actually as good as you think they are? Or are they just one of the, good could-be franchises that still has a long way to prove, and now the bullseye on their back, let's see how they do going forward the rest of the season.
Well, that's fine.
I hope you lose.
Gotta go. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Always come back. Love you. Comment below. Do what you got to do, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Tricky Guy Sports.